What's up, everybody? It's your boy Doggie Diamonds. You already know Doggie Diamonds TV. I've been on my live stream hard body the past couple of days. And I do it almost daily, but I got a special guest today. I've been chasing her around maybe for like 6 months, trying to get her on an interview live stream or something. But she pulled up today. She told me after the holidays, not like she was celebrating the holidays, but it'd be so chaotic for so many people. But she's live and direct. Let them know who I got on the live stream right now.
Peace, brother. This is ZaZa Ali. Peace and shout out to all of the viewers and the listeners as well. And thank you for having me. You ain't been chasing me around, but we made it happen.
Yeah. So ZaZa Ali.
Yes.
First of all, introduce yourself to the people for those who don't know you. I know that I met you at a lecture at Nicholas, Brooklyn, in my hometown, and I bought your book. And we've been corresponding since then. Let them know who you are, where you come from.
Well, my name is ZaZa Ali. I'm originally from Oakland, California, born and raised. I'm currently in Atlanta. I've been here now for about 5 months. But the way people know me most, I started out doing Enemy Minds Radio. As a co-host. I did that for a little bit more than, almost 2 years. I'm sorry. I also did co-hosted a radio show on was TuneIn Network. Did that for about, I think, 4 or 5 months. So a lot of people know me from there as well. I toured around the country for 2-3 years, teaching on different subjects, dealing with what's in my book. One, Black Matters, the Scientific Intervention in Our Affairs. Male-female relationships, history, a number of different things that pertain to our people and our culture around the world. So that's where most people know me from. And then, of course, my Facebook page, which has been active for about 5 years. A lot of people know me through my writing on social media.
So, all right, I am a reformed knucklehead. I got out of my knuckleheadism when I read the autobiography of Malcolm X by Alex Haley. After I read that, I read Message to the Black Man. Then I started seeing, one of my friends always, it was my friend's book, and I always we had the Malcolm X vinyl. So I'm a DJ, so we used to play the vinyl. And a lot of times, I was listening, but I still wanted to, go outside and, fight, rob, and steal, drink 40 ounces and all that. But then after a while, it started resonating with me, some of the things that were being said. So I started going through like a little awakening and saying, certain things I was doing isn't right. We shouldn't be harming each other. We shouldn't be selling drugs. So I had to go from that stage to where I'm at today. Mm-hmm. What point was your spiritual awakening?
Well, I grew up in Oakland, California. So the Nation of Islam and the Black Panther Party, of course, which was founded in Oakland, always had a big effect on me. I saw the strong presence of the nation in my community. And then, of course, the legacy of the Black Panthers was always strong. So that I grew up into that type of environment. And then the flip side of that is that I grew up in one of the cities that was targeted for crack cocaine. So, I'm used to seeing a vibrant Black culture. And then right around when I was, I think, about 10 years old, everything started to change. And I started to see, crack hit the streets and, zombies, and people that I loved and cared about being destroyed by crack cocaine. So I'm saying that because, out of the difficulty factor and the savagery that I was a witness to as a young girl, that had a lot to do with my spiritual awakening, because I was trying to figure out, like what happened to my people, what happened to my family. I got, my brother-in-law is breaking in the house and stealing our stuff. My sister is on drugs. My aunties and my uncles are on drugs. So it cultivated a sort of interest and search for truth. And then also when I was about 18 years old, I read Message to the Black Man in America and the ISIS Papers by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Both of those books were very instrumental in my awakening. Even though I still had one foot in the grave, I was still doing my thing. And then once I started once I opened that book, I started studying, Chancellor Williams and Ivan Van Sertima. I was always an avid student of history. When I went to college, I think I did probably an extra 2 years just because I was deep into African studies. And then I went deep into European studies because I'm a student of history. So it was a culmination of all of those things that kind of got me on the right path.
So I know you had friends, you had homegirls, you had homeboys who was just like, man, nobody don't want to hear that Black Power shit. Come over here, let's smoke this weed, let's drink this beer, let's sip this liquor, let's go out, let's turn up. How did you go from being, pulled that way and then going the other direction?
Well, like I said, I still had a foot in the grave. You know what I mean? So I would be smoking a blunt and reading Dr. Francis. You know what I'm saying? I would be, I had the brother that I was dating at the time. He was very into, the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. So, you know what I mean? We would hang out and we would build on, the teachings and, culture and history and whatnot. It wasn't until I had my son when I was 26 that, the light was already on in my head, but I think that experience, bringing life into the world, seeing a reflection of yourself, the power of giving birth, that really, really, really kind of made me sit up straight and be like, okay, I can't play with this no more. I have another life that I'm responsible for. So now it jumped off the pages of, Black culture and history and, everything that we've accomplished and been through to now it's like, okay, now I have a life that I'll be responsible for shaping. I can really change this thing around through my son.
So it had to be a point where you say, you know what, I'm going to go on a lecture circuit. Like, how would you get introduced to doing lectures and writing?
Well, my writing was always, I've always been a writer. So, a lot of people, I gained a very strong following. I think I had like 10,000 people following me on Facebook just because of my Facebook posts. I wasn't traveling. I wasn't speaking. I wasn't doing radio. It was just my writing. And then once I started Enemy Minds Radio, I started touring around the country with the brother that I was doing the show with in order to, kind of expand the work that I was doing, and it just kind of happened naturally and organically.
We live in a society where, we're taught to hate ourselves, and it's just manifested a lot of times with, I see the YouTube comments, sometimes I see the chat rooms, I never met a hater in my face, but it's always been on the social networks and stuff like that.
Social media is the coward's best friend.
Yeah. Why do you think we hate each other so damn much? Like, because I'm really trying to get to the root of this, and hence the title of this video, Black Male and Female Relationships. Why do we hate each other so much?
Well, I think it was Nas who said, he said in one of his records, some say hating is confused admiration. I think that's a part of it where, because we now with social media, we have access to seeing, if you live in, what I'm saying, Tallahassee, Florida, for instance, you know what I mean? And you in a small section of the world, all you see is your community and people around you. But now you have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So you have a visual to see how other people are living, or at least how people want you to think that they're living. So it makes your life, especially if you ain't got nothing going on for yourself, look small, and look petty if you don't have a strong sense of yourself. So now you're looking at these other people and it's making you feel insecure and making you feel some kind of way because you don't have access to what they have. I think that's a part of it. Another part of it is that, anybody that's spending time on social media, like, I get this stuff all the time. You spend so much time talking about other people. People say, oh, it's just trolls. It's just trolls. Yeah, but trolls are real people. You know what I'm saying? So what is fueling you as a person, grown, young child, whatever, to where you sit back and get off on disrespecting and trying to down talk other people? Like, what is happening that you have, first of all, that you have that amount of time? And then secondly, that you actually get off on hurting other people. There's a lot of insecure, lonely, unloved, desperate people, particularly in our community, you know what I mean, that don't really have anywhere to voice and vent that frustration. A lot of our sisters got issues with their mothers, don't know how to have righteous relationships with other women. So they go on social media and attack other women. Sisters got issues that they didn't have their fathers, or, you know, had abusive fathers. So now they online talking about how they hate black men and spreading that madness. Brothers had issues growing up with their mothers. So now they, you know, they build whole platforms where they do nothing but disrespect black women. So some of it is about seeing another person's light and not really being able to handle that shine. And then a lot of it is because, you know, we are so damaged and dysfunctional that we have to have somewhere to really spread that venom and express it. And unfortunately, it ends up hitting other people, everybody but yourself.
So you know, your some of your life you put out there, and some of your life was put out there by other people, and now people think they know your life.
Yeah.
Not based on what you said, what other people said about you. How do you cope with and deal with what people think they know about you, opposed to what they really know about you? How do you deal with it? Because me, I be wanting to fight every fucking body. You say something about me, I'm learning to say, you know what, mother made you, mother has you, motherfuck you. I'm not gonna argue with trolls. I'm not gonna argue with people who don't know what they're talking about. But it just seems that every video that I do, I have people who come comment about shit that they don't even know. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're going off of what somebody said, and there's not even no truth to what that particular person said. How do you deal with it?
Man, it's difficult. You know, I've been in you know, a couple of multiple very public, you know what I'm saying, confrontations with people in this community. And, you know, I had to realize that this bubble that a lot of people think is a big thing is really a very small element to the broader world. That's the first part. And then the second thing is, you know, I'm a very sensitive person, you know what I'm saying? And I'm very private. I really don't have a large circle of people that are around me. My circle is very small. And then I've been through a lot in my life. Like, I've been through hell. You know what I'm saying? I've had a difficult a journey, a difficult struggle. You know what I mean? So for everything that I went through, particularly with my case, which I made public, I'm the one who put it out there. You know, people claim that somebody broke the news. No, I put it out there before it was ever even an issue. And then people tried to jump on that and make it seem like they had some breaking news when I made it all public. You know, for 3 years of my life, I had to fight for my life. You know what I'm saying? I was fighting the government, which was trying to do everything in their power to break me and make me become an informant. And because I didn't do that, and because I went so far out of my way, put everything on the line, sacrificed everything, including my son, and then to turn around and, you know, and 2, 3, or 4 years later, people calling me a snitch, like what? And it's funny because the lack of discernment, like, I hate to say this, but there's a lot of stupid people in this world. You know what I mean?
Facts.
You don't go to trial and then turn around and make a deal with the United States government. Like, I went to trial, I lost. And this was the point that I made when I made the video addressing it, because a certain somebody whose name will remain unspoken, you know, went out there and said they had paperwork saying that I was an informant. Well, produce it.
Yeah.
So this is for the people who are listening to it. If you follow these people and they say they have A, B, C, and D, then produce it. And if you don't produce it, then you're a liar. You know what I'm saying? So how is it the people that are watching these people, you're not using your third eye and watching it and saying, okay, she said this, and then he said this, and then she said this. Okay, he didn't back up what he was saying. So, you know what I'm saying? Let me look at that closely. Like, our inability to use discernment. That's what frustrates me more than anything. You know, people come on my videos and make comments like they really, really know me. Well, this person said that about you. That dude don't know me.
Yeah.
I'm 38 years old. You know what I'm saying? You've seen me in the public eye for 5 years through social media. I lived my life for 33 years before that. You think this was the starting point for me? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? I became a mother at 26 years old. That's when my life really took off. What you know about my son? What you know about raising a child? What you know about raising a child and trying to do it righteously?
Let me ask you something. What's stopping you from just, you know, just picking up and just saying, you know what? Fuck all y'all. I'm not trying to show y'all nothing. I'm not trying to help you. I'm not trying to teach you. I'm not trying to build with you. You know what? Fuck all y'all. Because, you know, I'm not going to front. Sometimes it's not that the comments get to me, but I say, damn, I'm doing this for you. Like, because I'm going to get money regardless. It's not about money.
Yeah.
But I'm doing this for you. And I feel like what I'm doing can help you, help me, help us, and build a better community. So my future children and your children and current children don't be, you know, trying to kill each other. So sometimes I feel like, you know what, man, I'm just going to fucking put up fight videos. I'm just going to fucking put up all the madness because that's what y'all gravitate towards anyway.
Yeah.
What's stopping you from just taking the ball and going home?
Oh, trust me. I checked out. Like I literally earlier this year, like I checked out where I was like, I don't want to do this no more. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just because of all of the flack and negativity that came my way. It was also that all of the people that were in the community that knew me, that had a direct phone number to me, people that I did interviews with, that, you know what I'm saying, that I helped to had an impact on their platforms. People who I raised money for in the community, schools I raised money for in the communities, you know what I'm saying? Businesses that I helped in the community. They all stood back and was like, oh, wow. People hitting me up in my inbox and sending me messages and saying, you know, this is messed up. That ain't cool. But you won't say nothing publicly. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was also all of the people who stood back and watched it. And it let me know how blasphemous and how fake a lot of these people are. You talking about the black woman is God. You talking about these ancient concepts of ma'at and balance and truth and reciprocity. And you see these niggas putting, excuse me. You see these dudes.
They go, that Oakland came out.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You see these dudes putting me up on a cross. And you mean to tell me you ain't got nothing to say about it? Not picking a side, but just slow your roll. You know what I'm saying? We men, we supposed to conduct ourselves as men. It's a fine line between manhood and crossing over and starting to act like a female now. So, it was the lack of support. It was all of the disrespect where I was like, I don't want to do this no more. I lost my inspiration, and I still struggle with that. And that was one of the reasons why I took the last 3 months where I just said, I'm not doing no social media. I'm not doing no interviews. I'm not doing no speaking engagements. Let me just back up and regroup and recenter, because this thing ain't going to kill me. You know what I'm saying? It takes a major toll, especially if you are really striving to be a righteous person and striving to live your life a certain way. And then all 1-2 people come along and put your name out there. And now everything you've worked for people are questioning you. So when I think about, I had to go back to the root, the innate love that I have for my people. You know what I mean? When I think about what slavery did to our people, when I go back to the history of the indigenous people around the world and what we accomplished, and, the struggle and the striving and the journey that we've been through all of this time is part of my DNA. You know what I mean? And I can never walk away from that, but I am regrouping though. I am restructuring myself. These niggas ain't gonna have access to me like that. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that word because I see the element, God didn't create niggas. The white man created niggas. You know what I mean? I see them. I see them wearing consciousness. I see them wearing ankhs, you know what I mean? And kufis and talking about, the Bible and the Quran and higher concepts of spirituality, but you a nigga. You know what I mean? So I don't want to deal with that element. I see more light. I was telling a brother on the phone yesterday, I see more light in some of the eyes of the brothers and sisters in the hood than I see in the church and the mosque. So just, and then I can never turn away from my divine calling. I'm doing what the ancestors put me here to do. You know what I mean? It's no secret that I'm having this interview with you. This ain't no chance thing. Like I'm living out my prophecy. You know what I mean? And they saw me coming and paved the way for me. So I have to do what I'm doing, but I'm restructuring and doing it in a different way so I can keep myself away from energy vampires. Because I'm like you, I want to pop somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to just sit back and see people lie about you, talk about your life like they know you. You know what I mean? And people are like, don't say nothing, don't fall into it. What do you mean don't say anything? you hear a lie repeated enough, people start to think
it starts to sound like the truth. That's why I said in one of my videos, an uncontested lie seems like the truth. And the funniest thing, because you know my name been in people's mouth for the past 3-4 months. Now I'm 100% a street dude. You say my name in a derogatory way, I'm ready to go out there and pop. But then I started thinking, hold on. I've been and I addressed it in one of my videos, and I'm not going to rehash it because it was seen out there. But I said, you know, I've been in this game for 9 years, and I've been giving y'all so much content, from conscious to everything. And then you have somebody who comes around and puts something on my name, and y'all believe that shit?
Yeah.
Y'all believe all the work that I put in for the culture of hip hop and the culture of our people, and y'all believe somebody who just come in and they didn't even have to prove anything. They just had to sit. And that's the sad shit.
Exactly. And you know, bro, like, you know, I grew up in East Oakland, California. So for me, growing up in that street life, somebody comes out and calls you a snitch, that's big to me.
Hell
and
yeah.
People kept, you know what I'm saying? People kept saying, just let it go, don't say nothing. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, this is something that could give me and my son hurt. People know where I'm, you know what I'm saying? People know where I'm gonna be at next week. They know where I'm gonna be at next month. I'm not about to just let this fly out there. Like, that's a major thing to me for somebody to put a snitch jacket on you, and then people are repeating it like it's truth. So why aren't the people who claim they want truth, whether you pick this side or that side, you with that dude or this woman, why aren't you demanding the truth? Because you don't want the truth. The lie is more entertaining than the truth, because the truth forces you to act. You know what I'm saying? If you know you listening to somebody that's lying to you flat out, you got to put this dude on the spot. Either that or you got to stop listening to him altogether. And, you know, Black people like to have their ears tickled. You know what I mean? They want to have feel-good sessions where they can tune in and have a good laugh and then go back to living in hell.
And that's gonna the dope segue into our relationship. Due to social media, I feel like the Black man and Black women and what's going on in our surroundings, our relationship is so damn tarnished, because it's so much strain on us that we feel like, okay, I see ZaZa Ali posts, I see her pictures, I know her, I know everything about you now. Let's date. Let's not even date. Let's get married. But then when we do those things, I realize I don't know shit about you.
Yeah. What's happening
with our relationships at this current time?
I mean, you know, it's funny that you know, people think they know you from social media, and you know, like, social media represents 2% of my life. You know what I mean? 2% of my mind. You know, if I'm writing, I might share a little piece of that with the world. If I'm doing a video and I'm talking about male-female relationships, I'm just scratching the surface. And so people take that 1 45-minute video and they piece it apart, and they're like, well, you didn't talk about this, and you didn't talk about that, and you didn't deal with this. I'm like, it's just one video. Like, there are so many layers upon layers upon layers that we have as a people. You know, sometimes it's like we grabbing at straws looking for a way to attack people, when all we really trying to do is up the ante on the conversation. You know, it's really sad to me that every time we have, and I always try to be balanced, there's, you know, enough responsibility or blame. I don't even like to use the word blame, but responsibility on the male and female part. It's not more of the man's fault and more of the woman's fault. No, it's an equal thing that we have to approach. So you start talking about the brothers and how, you know, we as women are tired of our men disrespecting us and playing games with us, and, you know, having sex with the sisters and then bailing out and leaving sisters with single parent households. And then the brothers, instead of us dealing with that, dealing with the weight of being a single mother, dealing with the fact that it's not just her fault that she decided to lay up with the wrong man, whatever the circumstances, because if it's her fault, then it's his fault too. We want to blame it all on her. The sisters, if we talk about Black women and Black women needing to start to cultivate themselves in a more righteous manner, start to see yourself as more than just your breast to hip ratio, and, you know, how good you look in your Instagram pictures and what you present to the world, and start being more substantive, start reading more, start studying more. Like, I know I talk to brothers all the time. They're looking for women who have more substance. You tell Black women that, all hell's gonna break loose. And I'm not saying all sisters, but I've had this conversation before where we want to instead of us acknowledging what we need to work on, we start pointing the finger back at Black men. So I think, accountability, self-accountability right now for me, I keep saying that because everybody's pointing the finger back at everybody else, and we're not really dealing with our issues. We have serious issues. We've been traumatized, not just from the experience of slavery and Jim Crow and lynchings and all of that stuff. Like growing up in America, especially if you come from the hood, you've been traumatized.
Oh, I say all of us suffer from PTSD.
Absolutely. You know what that's like to, you know what I'm saying? You grow up and you might have a man in the household beating on your mother, or your mother may have been on crack when you were in her stomach, or, your mother may have been isolated and cold-hearted and didn't know how to hug you and give you love, or your father was in jail, or you can't walking up and down the street and you see rest in peace balloons and flowers. That's a traumatic experience. So how do we think, if we're not dealing with our issues as individuals, that we're going to come together with another individual who has just as much trauma, if not more, and be whole? No, that's not the real thing. So, I see in some of our leadership, I see the insanity. You can see the trauma. You can see the hurt. You can see the pain. And I don't care how many accolades you have. I don't care how powerful you think you are. We see a little boy crying out for help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is an issue that a lot of us have, that we are denying, that those little boys and those little girls that's inside of us that never got that proper nurturing and guidance. We see this in one another and we clown each other for it. We belittle each other for it. You know what I mean? It's not, brothers can't be emotionally, out there. Brothers can't talk about feelings and things like that. It's weak for a man to talk about feelings. No, if you are a man, especially if you have children, you better be emotionally, if you're not already trying to be healthy, striving at least, to get there. So it's social media has really kind of put a magnifying glass on it. And it's an unfortunate thing, but I think it's necessary, because I didn't realize how crazy we were. It has really, really kind of made me like, okay, so this dude could build a whole platform based off of disrespecting and attacking Black women. But he has a lot of followers, though.
Yeah, but see, this is what I wanted to say, because, all right, you have people who attack women, then you have some women who are attacking men, Black people attacking, yes. Black men attacking Black women attacking Black men, but it has a following. So is the person, this is kind of a rhetorical question, but who do we blame? Do we blame the person that's attacking, or do we blame the people who that are entertaining that shit? Because it's not like people are in the comments saying, fuck you, go fuck your mother. It's Black women agreeing with that shit. It's Black men agreeing with that shit. So they have the audience, because right now, right, if we was to do positive videos every day, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Sadly, it's a very small percentage of our people who care. They don't care about that shit.
Yes,
they want the shit show. They want the beef. They want the hatred. That's why Jerry Springer's still on. That's why Maury is still on. That's why World Star is #1. That's why Media Takeout is a big website. Bossip, all that shit is there. It is a shit show, and people want it. So when you're sitting here, you're trying to do positive things for the people, for yourself, because like I said, if you do things for the people, that in turn helps you, because in helping them, you help yourself, because now when you go outside, somebody's not looking to bust you over your damn head. Somebody's not looking to rob you, or somebody's not looking to attack your child and rape your child, or whatever the case may be, and molest your child. But it's like our people don't want that shit. They only want hatred. They only want, the fucked up shit. To put, that's all they want. So my thing is, from me to you, and how do we start the healing process?
Well, there's a couple of things I want to say. The first thing, everything that you're saying, it is, and this is something that I've really realized over the past year. We talk a lot about unity, and Black people just need to unite. I'm like, I can't unite with, you know what I'm saying, people who represent something that I'm not down with. So you have to meet a certain standard to unite with me. There has to be a litmus test, you know what I'm saying, for unity to take place with me and anybody. We sit here talking about the fact that the majority of our people gravitate towards ignorance. Ignorance is the order of the day. So if the majority of Black people are gravitating towards ignorance, you mean to tell me that our remedy for that is to unite? No, there has to be a separation.
Yeah,
you know, the real war, and call it the war of Armageddon, the spiritual war, is the war for the minds of the people. This world is winning the war for the minds of the people, hands down. There's no question about it. So what we have to do as warriors and as righteous brothers and sisters who are really about this life, because we know that some of the people, I'll say, that are in front of the camera and talking about it ain't really living it. And you can see it in their eyes and you can see it in their soul if you spiritually in tune. We have to go into the matrix in order to pull the righteous ones out. You know what I'm saying? If you remember in the movie, they had to go into the matrix to pull the people out. Now, when we talk about the war, it's a lot of people out here mixing truth with falsehood, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know what I'm saying? It's not hard to have followers nowadays. Like I see some people that have 20,000 followers on Facebook, and I'm like, who's following you?
I mean, with all due respect, pull a titty out and you get 100,000 followers. Exactly.
So you have people now, particularly with the age of information, who read a few books, who put up a few videos that are mixing truth with falsehood. Now, if we live in a world that's predicated on ignorance and everybody's gravitating towards the ignorance, people are going to gravitate towards the 15% of ignorance that you put out more so than the 85% of knowledge that you drop. So we have to be mindful. I always say, it's time for us to start making knowledge and the way you being modest. And when I say modest, I'm not talking about wearing 3/4 of cloth. I'm talking about being modest in how you represent yourself to the world, how you speak, how you act, how you think, being balanced, being righteous in your assessments. We have to set a new standard for our people. That's my goal. We have, and not just for our people, for all people. If our duty is supposed to be to civilize the 85%, if we call ourselves the mothers and fathers of civilization, why have we not accepted the responsibility to civilize the world? We don't even think like that. We sit back. Sisters say all the time, talk about, the age of Aquarius and sexual responsibility and whatnot. And these sisters really feel like they want to use their sexuality as a weapon now and control men using sex. Brothers can get that anywhere, any day of the week. So I think the main thing for us is to set a new standard and then go after our young people. Put the clean glass next to the dirty glass and let the people decide. It's not about the short haul, who getting all the likes now, who getting all the attention now. No, we have to look at this methodically. I'm a Scorpio. I'm very strategic. You know what I mean? So I can sit back, and I've been doing that for the last 3 months, watching everything moving, watching what people are gravitating towards, what people are saying. I'd rather be, 50 strong than 1,000 soft any day. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's working to attract the people who have like minds. And then once we need a win. Like, we take so many losses every day. Our people don't really know. It's like you talking that righteousness, you talking that consciousness, but we look at our surroundings. Look at what we're dealing with. So I think if we can get a win and then set the standard for how we address manhood and womanhood. If our people really knew what a upstanding woman looked like, our daughters would start to gravitate towards that, no matter how many Nicki Minaj's and Rihanna's and Beyonce's are out here. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you something though. You said put the clean glass next to the dirty glass. Nowadays, in the society that we in, the dirty glass is sponsored by corporate America, and millions of dollars are funneled into the dirty glass and making the people believe that the glass is not really actually dirty.
Yeah.
How do we fight that?
I mean, that's you have to be the light. You know what I'm saying? You have to represent what it is that you're teaching. When you are the clean glass, people are the people who are really on a mission and seeking truth and seeking a change in their life. Most of the people on this planet are suffering, bro. Yes. Like really, really suffering. And I don't care how much money you have, or if you in the hood, or if you in the suburbs, most people on this planet are suffering, and they are yearning for something more than what they have access to. Those people, when they see the light, when they see you representing that clean glass, will be like, damn, I want some of that for myself. I might still have a foot in the grave. You know what I mean? That's how I was when I first saw Frances Cress Welsing. I didn't have any strong Black role models, female models that I could look up to and be like, yeah, that's it. The women in my life and in my family were, I was like, hell no, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? When I saw her, I was like, that's it. That's it. And a light went off in my head. And so I started to shape and mold myself, not in her image, but just being able to see what you can be if you are a scholar and if you are studied, and how you can handle people with your mind and win wars with your mouth. You know what I mean? So it's some of it is attacking this world. We have to, and this is something that really perplexes me about people who, you know, have found this higher spiritual calling, or people who, you know, the people who say, I don't watch TV, I'm so far removed from all of that. They step away from the reality of this world and don't really want to confront, like you talked about, the corporate entities and the ignorance and the evil. We have to confront it. It don't mean you got to do what ZaZa's doing or what you doing, but you have to find a way to confront it. We have to show our children that we're not scared to deal with this and stop running away from the reality of what it really is.
Yeah, because a lot of times we say, I don't watch that, I turn the TV off, but 98% of the households are watching it, and the people who are watching it are affected by it, and it manifests through their behavior, and that's how it leaks over to their children and their ways and actions. So when your child is going outside, they're kind of lost to what everybody is looking at. So I think sometimes you have to look and say, look at this right here.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Because instead of, you know, hiding it, you know, one thing about Black people, you know, one of the effects of slavery is hiding everything.
Yeah.
You know, we try to hide everything from the children. We try to hide everything. And by hiding it, you're actually hurting them. Yeah. Because when they find out, it's like, well, why you didn't tell me this? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
This idea that, you know, people say that which you focus on expands. And to an extent, when you come into a higher sense of consciousness, that's real. But then also, like, if we don't talk about molestation, does it go away?
No, yeah, we got to talk about that.
If we don't talk about Black on Black crime and how our babies is getting murdered in the streets, does it go away?
Yeah, yeah, you know, and what I wanted to ask you, you know, for myself, I'm a single man in Brooklyn, New York. You know, even though it might be females that, you know, like me, and I've actually might have courted females, you know, what's happening? Because it's really fucking slim pickings everywhere. Like, what's happening? Because I don't know if you're dating, we don't have to talk about that, but I'm just saying, what's happening with the slim pickings of the relationship? Because, you know, I would like to be with a Black woman, but it's like, all right, how do I find a Black woman that don't wear weave, that don't have a fake ass, that don't have fake titties, that's not superficial? Where are they at? Where is the man for you that's not sending a representative and saying he wants all these things, but then in turn, when you find out he sent his representative to get you, and then he comes out to be a piece of shit? Where are these people at? How do we find these people to be our mates? Where are they at?
You know, this is where that concept of that which what you focus on expands comes into play, when it becomes real. Because, you know, I am single, I'm not dating, and I have had to learn over the course of, you know, my life to be comfortable with being single. You know what I mean? To be comfortable with being comfortable with myself. And that's not to say that I don't want to be in a relationship, because I do. I want to have more children. You know what I mean? But I also know that where I am in my life, like I said, what I've been through in the past year, I had to step back and take an honest assessment and say, you know what? I got a few things I need to work on. You know what I mean? If that dude showed up right now, am I ready for him? If he really came, if that ideal man for me, which is having knowledge of self, you know what I mean? Being motivated in your business or your career endeavors. It's not about money, but it's about being focused and being motivated. I knew that was going to happen. Somebody called me. Being focused and motivated and having drive and ambition, being a good father if you have children, wanting children if you don't have children. You know, there are certain guidelines and standards that a man has to have before we even, you know, before he can even come to the table. Now, my question for myself is, do I meet those prerequisites? Have I fulfilled certain spiritual elements and internal things that I know I need to work on as far as baggage and things from my past. Have I met that? And I had to really do an honest assessment and say, no, I still got a few things I want to work on. Now, that doesn't mean that if a brother came along right now, the right man, that he couldn't help me fine tune and get it right. That's more than
I wanted to say that because I wanted to know, are we too hard on ourselves? Are we saying, well, I have this list right here. You're not fit. No, you're not fitting this list. Should we in turn start giving people a chance to build,
Absolutely. And it's not, it is part of it. Part of it is being not hard on yourself, but self-critical. But then the other part of it is being open and understanding that most of our people have baggage. It's going to be very rare, to find a Black man or woman who has grown up in this country who does not have some sort of baggage. We are not going to come perfectly packaged. And to be honest, that's what makes us so beautiful. The struggle is a beautiful struggle, but at the same time, it's easy to get in a relationship with somebody that you're not equally yoked with.
Yeah.
It's easy. The reason why there's slim pickings for you is because you're looking for a sister that's equally yoked. I'm looking for a brother that's equally yoked. You know what I mean? So I think that concept of what you focus on expands has to start to come into play, where you start to visualize and feel and think about and concentrate on what it's going to feel like when that sister comes into your life, how it's going to look when you see her in your kitchen, preparing meal, interacting with your children, helping you to build up your platform as far as your business, going out on road trips, going to the movies. You know what I mean? That's what we got to get back into. If the mind can conceive it, then man can achieve it, even if it's not here yet. Own that relationship in your mind and in your heart.
Is some Black men and women setting their standards too high up, and then some setting their standards too low?
Absolutely. Well, it depends on what constitutes as standards. I hear sisters say, if you ain't got a certain FICO score, and if you don't own your house and you don't have this type of car, then you don't make the cut. Oh, that's stupid, and that is really a surface way of existing, because a lot of times when you go into a relationship with that type of mindset, you ain't gonna get no love and affection and righteous nurturing from this man. You know what I mean? Y'all might look good when you push up in the bins, but when you go home, you are not emotionally nurtured and getting everything that you need from this man. So it's not about the surface requirements, standards so much for me. I don't judge men based on the type of car that they have, because I've dated professional athletes, you know what I mean, who were, you know what I'm saying, not worth their weight in nickels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you could be a rich bum too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So it's just there should be a certain level of standards that have to be met. I can't date a man who don't take care of his children.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't have a good relationship with your children and your children's mother, and I know there's some sisters out here that's crazy out of their mind and play games with the babies and the child support and all of that. But you got to work on that, because you chose that sister and she chose you. You know what I mean? You can't give up on your children ever. And if I come across a man who has 90% of what I'm looking for, and that's an issue, that's a no-go. You know what I mean? So I think there are certain standards. If I'm a righteous woman, I don't do religion. If you a brother that's, going to church every Sunday and you got a picture of white Jesus in your house, it's really nothing for us to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there should be some basics.
So what about building with him? But what about building with him and educating him? Like, you got to take.
I do that every day.
Okay.
Every day.
Because I know. Look, this is. I want you. I know you see the ZaZa Ali tags. I know what they say about you. So let's try to break down some of the barriers. They say ZaZa Ali is a feminist, so she don't want no man. They say ZaZa Ali done went to the other side. She's gay now. You know, because she's so strong. No woman could be that strong unless they like other women. Yeah. How do you find a relationship with these tags on you?
Well, I'm not looking for a relationship. That's the first thing. It's funny that, I the way that I interact with the men in my life, you're not gonna see that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not. I'm very cognizant of how I speak to brothers. At times I'm passionate and you know, strong, and then at other times I'm more soft and nurturing and dealing with that element. But the way that I interact with the private man in my life, you're not going to see that. I'm trying to wake up a dead people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not flying in, you know, on lilies and butterflies, you know what I mean? And singing lullabies. I'm sounding the alarm for a dead people. Now I have to be careful in being balanced and trying to address our brothers without seem like I'm just bashing and all of that type of stuff. I'm very cognizant of that. At the same time, we just talked about how much ignorance there is in the community.
Yes.
How much ignorance there is on social media. You know what I mean? So 8 times out of 10, when I do videos, I'm responding to the madness that I see. So yes, I'm gonna be a little bit more, you know, gung-ho and stronger in the way that I represent. My passion is one of the greatest gifts that God has given me. I used to regret it. And now I understand that that's my power. It's just cultivating it in the right way and using the feminine. You know, we as women, we can't fight this war the way our brothers fight it. They use fire. We have to be water sometimes. We have to be air sometimes. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to help sisters to understand that strength is not only in, you know, the rah, rah, rah and being able to stand on your square and speak your piece. Being strong is also being feminine. It's also being opening up your heart and being soft and being open to being corrected and being open to being guided. Being, what's the word I want to use? Not naive or gullible. Damn, it's on the tip of my tongue. It'll
pop it. Yeah, like 3 a.m. when this shit is over, it's gonna say
that's
the word. And
exactly. And then I'm gonna go. Yeah. Anyway, but you know, just being open to being loved. I said I did an interview last night. I said, Black women, we gotta stop pretending like we don't need love. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the basic requirements as a human being. You need love, and it's only so much love you're gonna get from your children. You know what I mean? So taking that, and then, you know, people say I'm a feminist. You know, I don't represent the homosexual agenda. I don't represent tearing men down and blaming men for everything. I believe that, you know, a very large portion of our issues in the male-female dynamic has to do with women and how we've dropped the ball. So I hold women accountable, but people still repeat the same thing over and over. She's a feminist. She's a feminist. She's a feminist. So the only thing that I can do is to keep doing what I do. You know, the lesbian thing is quite funny to me. You know, I would pay top dollar for any female to come to the forefront and say that, you know what I mean? I've even addressed her in the wrong way, in a funny type of way, let alone been with her, you know. But we need Black women to be strong right now. And unfortunately, we're not in a situation where we can tell the sisters to just sit down and not be strong. We need our women to be strong, but we also need that strength to be cultivated in being nurturing and being compassionate and being caring as well.
The first book you wrote, Black Matters, I have it. You tackled a few things. Without going into the book, because I want to deal with the second book, because that has a lot to do with the topic that we're talking about. How do we get our people to read, for one? How do we get people to believe that this is going on? Because we're in a place right now where, like I said, corporate America, which is, you know, has a lot to do with the system of white supremacy, is pumping millions and billions of dollars to everything to tear us down, and it's working. Money is being pushed to the forefront of the ignorant is being pushed to the forefront, the ignorance. Yeah. We're trying to get people to say, yo, this is real. Like if you look at the Boondocks predicted a rapper in a dress. It predicted the homosexual agenda gonna happen, and people looked at it and laughed like it's a cartoon, but now it manifests itself today as we see. Yeah. So how do we get people to pick up the books and start reading and start paying more attention and listening, and stop taking everything we say as such a damn conspiracy all the time? Here we go. You know, how do we get them to stop looking at everything like it's a conspiracy?
Well, one thing that we have to, you know, be cognizant of is that a lot of our people ain't gonna make it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of our people just are not gonna make it. You know, some of them are gonna be cannon fodder. You know what I'm saying? And when I say cannon fodder, I mean they're gonna be the ones that they're gonna put in the gun and shoot it off. You know what I mean? As part of this war. So everybody can't be saved. But for you know, I was talking to a brother the other day, and I was saying that what we have to do is make sure that we don't throw everybody away because we think that it's a waste of time. A lot of people, Black people, have given up on Black people. We can't throw our people away because the next Malcolm X, the next Marcus Garvey, the next Elijah Muhammad, the next Imhotep, the next Pharaoh Hatshepsut, you know what I mean? There's great potential in our children. You know, Asian people don't talk about giving up on their people. Nobody does that but us. Yeah, where it's like, I can't deal with it no more. You know what I mean? That's weak to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to give up on my people. I might have to pivot and re-strategize and figure out a better way to go at it, but I'm not giving up on my people because of the ignorance. The ignorance is the reason to go after them. We have a responsibility to the ancestors, everything that our people have been through. How dare we even try to walk away from that? You know what I'm saying? So it's for me, and this is how I know I've always been conscious. You know, as I could say, you know, when I read that awakening that I had, but I've always been conscious. I'm looking up in the sky. I'm in Oakland, and I'm seeing chemtrails, and I know something's not right. You know, nobody had given me any information. I was looking up in the sky, and I was like, this don't look right. And so I started studying it. And the more I started studying it, I started to see the patterns and tic-tac-toe grids and all of this stuff in the sky. And so now my third eye is jumping. You know what I mean? So now I go on the internet. Now I start researching it like, wait a minute, what is this? Then I find the scientists who are predominantly white who have been studying this stuff for 10 years. So wait a minute, this has been going on for 10 years now, where they're actually playing with the electromagnetic field of the planet and spraying trillions of toxins on top of our head. So some of it is reading, some of it is opening your eyes and paying attention to what's going on around you. You know, you on YouTube, I'm looking for a Doggie Diamonds TV video, an interview that you did with somebody. Why is there soft porn coming up in the YouTube feed? I don't watch soft porn. Why are they identifying your platform? Because they know that you have a large audience, probably predominantly young Black men, and they are trying to take them off of their square. This is how we have to start looking at what's going on. I go to the movies. I watch TV. I'm not one of them people, you know, that's like, I don't watch TV at all. No, I watch TV. I watch certain shows, but I'm trying to be cognizant of what is taking place in the bigger scheme of things. This is how you teach the lesson. So when I teach young people, I take hip hop videos, hip hop songs, and break down the language, break down the lyrics. You use the pop culture. You use what's happening in social media, and you use that as a teaching lesson. There's books, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of literature out there that I think is worthy of getting people inspired to read. You have the urban literature where, you know, the thug meets the girl, and you know what I'm saying? They Bonnie and Clyde. And
I used to love True to the Game. I love that book.
Oh, that was my True to the Game. Was that book. One book. Oh my God. Yeah.
They should have made that. They should have made that a damn movie.
They should have made that a movie. They still should make that a movie.
Rest in peace to Quadir. Rest in peace to Quadir.
Quadir was my husband. You couldn't tell me nothing. But you know, creating literature now that opens our people's minds. Brainwashed is a book by Tom Burrell. $40 Million Slaves is another one by William Roden. Nile Valley Contribution to Civilization. I think that's a book that can help our people to kind of, it's like you can't just take ancient history and give it to people, especially now when they don't read and think they're going to embrace it. We have to tie that into the bigger scheme of things. So finding a way, and for me, particularly with book 2, I wanted to be able to write, you know, I know book 1 dealing with science, eugenics, chemtrails, crack cocaine, you know, that's not sexy to Black people.
Yeah, you might have scared motherfuckers away. They like, I don't want to read all this shit.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to deal with it. And when I read the book, I was like, oh my God, like this is heavy. You know what I mean? But it's necessary. And 5 years from now, 10 years from now, people are going to be like, man, she was on it before a lot of people really were talking about this. Book 2, Plagues of Dysfunction, is really dealing with the reality of where we are. You know, people talk about things the way they want them to be opposed to the way that they are. No, sisters, from hair weave to the way we spend our money to the materialism to the vanity on social media. I can't stand to see the way that a lot of these sisters put themselves out there on Instagram. Like you took 100 pictures to get one damn perfect picture to put up on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? And the videos and you know, you only showing one part of your body because, you know, it's insanity. So that brothers and how they spend their money, you know, the Playboy concept, the Mac Daddy concept, the pimp concept. Why do we glorify that? Why do we glorify pimps? Why is, you know, why is that accepted and embraced in our community? And then we wonder why our children don't really know what manhood looks like. A people of sport and play is one of the subjects in the book where I talk about, you know, the Freaknik. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the name alone.
I went to the Freaknik one year. I was like 19. I was blown away. Now I grew up in California, so I wasn't used to the, you know what I'm saying, the hardcore booty popping and twerking in the middle of the street, and you know what I'm saying, sisters wearing booty shorts with but I wasn't used to that. So I come out here and you got brothers and sisters in the middle of the highway dancing and partying like you know it's no tomorrow. Where does that come from?
You know what I say with us? If we can't drink it, smoke it, fuck it, we don't care.
Exactly.
So that Black Matters. So is book 2 going to be called Black Matters 2, or you have
Black Matters Volume 2, Plagues of Dysfunction? The first section is Black Girl Lost. The second section is A People of Sport and Play, and then the third section is Message to the Black Man in America.
So when you say Black Girl Lost, that reminds me of so many titles. You know, one of the biggest ones would be Nas.
Yeah.
Nas. Were you ever a Black Girl Lost?
Absolutely.
Because I want people to hear your account of where you at, because none of us was born perfect. Like I said, I'm a reform foul dude and shit. You know, I used to be foul. Yeah, Donald Goines. Thank you. Definitely Donald Goines. We got to give the writer the credit for the title Black Girl Lost. Were you ever a point where you were drinking the 40s, smoking weed, you know, at the hooky parties and stuff like that? That's what I want people to know. Like, how did you get out of that? How did you get out of the mud? Because it is some men, some women that want to know, how do I get out of that mud? Because I'm stuck, I'm trapped. There's so much going on. There's peer pressure. It's society. How do I get out of this mud?
Well, you know, yes, I absolutely was in the mud. And this is why I can write a section titled Black Girl Lost and really stand on that. A lot of the things that I talk about in the book are things that I actually dealt with. Like I had bleached my hair blonde when I was in my early 20s. You know what I mean? I was clubbing and flying around the country and partying, whatnot, from in my early 20s. I started smoking weed at 14 years old. Damn. Now, yeah, exactly. Now, when I look back, I was never into drinking. I never had a high tolerance for alcohol. But, you know, when I look back at it, I was numbing myself from the pain that I was dealing with at that time. You know, I didn't really have a strong relationship with my father. He had a son, and basically just, you know, once he had a son, it was like I didn't exist anymore. I never had a relationship with my mother. I didn't have no connection with her side of the family. You know, everybody in my family, most of the people in my family selling drugs or, you know, going in and out of jail. Like I had that experience of Black Girl Lost. I got involved with an older man when I was in my teens. You know what I mean? Like a lot of sisters do. He came along and I was really looking for a father, and, you know, he played part of that father role, but then he also misused me in certain ways as far as taking advantage of the fact that I was young and naive, you know, playing up on my body. I never really, you know, went too far with as far as how I presented myself to the world. But there was a time when I thought that all I had was, you know, how I looked and my shape and whatnot. You know what I mean? And I went through all of that. I went through a phase where I spent $200 a month on my hair, where I spent, you know what I'm saying, $300 a month on grooming myself. And then fast forward, you know, 5-6 years later, I ain't got no money. I have no savings. You know what I'm saying? Drove off the lot in a 2007 brand new Cadillac, you know, and then 6 years later, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to figure out how to make ends meet. So I've been through all of that. You know what I mean? And that's why I say our struggle is a beautiful struggle. I can't run from any of that. That's what makes me who I am. That's why young brothers and sisters resonate with me, because I'm not talking about things I don't know about. I've been in a car where kilos of crack were in the trunk. You know what I'm saying? I've been in a house where keys got cut up, you know, and bagged up and weighed and whatnot. I've seen that type of stuff. I know the experience of what our children are going through. I had friends that had mothers who were selling their body to their homeboys and you know what I'm saying, for blowjobs and things like that. I've seen the worst. Yep. I've seen the worst of what we've been through as a people. You know what I mean? But I've also, and I said this in the introduction of my book, book 1, I've also seen in the cracks and crevices of the Black experience and the worst of who we are, some of the most intelligent and brightest beams of light that there are, way surpassing these dudes who got PhDs and, you know, sit on corporate boards, and, you know, females who have, you know, strong businesses and whatnot. I've seen some of the most brilliant brothers and sisters in the hood that surpass anything this world has to offer. I'm trying to reach them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if the world is following us in our madness, if a young thug can blow,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. If a Waka Flocka and, you know what I mean, all of this garbage that's on the radio right now can be leading the world, what could we lead the world if we actually knew how could we lead the world and civilize the world if we as a people understood our prominence and who we really are? Black people in America set the trends for everybody.
Yes.
Everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I have one of my lectures. I have some white girls in Sweden. They have a class about twerking. A white girl is teaching white girls how to twerk, and they use it as a form of exercise, of course, but also they trying to tap into that energy. What if Black women, if we understood the power of that, and instead of, you know, twerking being our thing that we're known for, we started being known for, you know what I mean, for being righteous and for studying and for, you know, being in tune with mathematics and spiritual concepts. What if we set the bar like that? Yeah.
So where could they get book one at?
Both books are on my website, ZaZaAli.com. There's this page that says books / merchandise. You can get it from there.
Oh, so book 2 is out already?
Yes, sir.
Holy shit, I didn't even know that. When did you release book 2?
Officially, I released it 2 weeks ago. I actually released it a little bit earlier this year, but when it came out, I wasn't happy with it. I saw a lot of the judgment that I was placing on myself in the book. So I had to go back and I actually re-edited and revised the book like 3 times before it was satisfactory to my own liking. I saw a lot of the pain that I was dealing with over the past couple of years written in the book. And I knew it was an indictment on the people. It was an indictment on myself, but I saw it come out in my writing. So I didn't want to put that out there like that. I wanted it to be on par with where I am in my life right now.
So you self-publish and self-edit everything yourself?
Everything.
Okay. So okay, they could give them the website one more time.
ZaZaAli.com, ZaZaAli.com.
What does ZaZa mean?
ZaZa means belonging to all in Hebrew.
Okay, because I'm like, how you gonna pick a name for yourself? Like how you pick up ZaZa? Because names with Z's always fascinate me. I'm like, because there's nobody with names with Z's. Yeah. So it's on your website. How could the people stay in contact with you on a day-to-day basis?
Well, of course, there's my website. My YouTube channel, I've been putting up a lot more content in the past couple of weeks, is ZAli2012. Z like zebra, ALI 2012. My Facebook page, I think I'm going to go back on Facebook next week. A lot of people have been reaching out to me about that. So my Facebook page is ZaZa Ali. I also have Black Matters ZaZa Ali on Facebook. That page is up now. I'm on Instagram, ZaZa_Ali78. And then I'm on Twitter, ZaZaAli_7.
Yep. All right. So I want to thank you for coming through finally. Because I had the other footage that I had of you of the lecture. I put that out there.
And thank you so much. Yeah, and thank you for bigging me up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
promoting me. Like, even before we talked about me going on the show, this brother was, promoting my work. And I think I saw what you were doing and giving people, just another opportunity to see me in the right light. And not just that, but I'm a teacher. Like when you see videos of me, I'm not talking about this ignorance and this foolishness. Like I'm actually trying to make people aware of things that I think are important.
I judge people off my personal interaction with them. I'm a good reader of spirit and energy, and I just seen something in your spirit that I gravitated towards, and I just wanted to give you a chance to fuck up with me if that was the case. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't judge you off of what somebody else has said. It's a different experience with me. And I think if you're going to go out there and you're going to be a fighter and advocate for Black people, I think that you deserve that shot and that chance to do it. And if it was something that you did and I didn't like, I know that I can personally reach out to you and say, yo, I ain't really feeling that. Maybe you should attack it this way. And I think more people should have did that to you in private opposed to doing it in the public and causing this rift and all this crazy shit. Because I'm trying to be drama free, man. Because I'm gonna bust somebody over their fucking head, and I don't want to. You know, I'm a person who everything that I got, I earned. Nothing was given to me. So when you earn it, you respect it and cherish it different. So I don't want to lose everything that I earned for nothing, for somebody who was gifted with all this stuff. And you always have to, and when I say gifted, I don't mean something that they have inside of them. It was given to them. So when I say gifted, so that's what it is.
Let me just let you know, the people, like talking about steering myself in a different direction, which is what I'm doing. This year, 2017, I'm really going to be focused on doing workshops and retreats. Young people, I want to do my first one out in California because I have access to a lot of young people from the hood who really kind of want to take them out of their element and do a retreat and, bring some positive brothers and sisters with me to take them out of their element and give them a higher sense of self. Sisters as well. I'm going to be doing retreats and workshops for sisters as well. And then, of course, eventually we'll do more co-ed stuff, but that's just going to be getting into it and getting my feet wet and learning the learning curves of it. And, also teaching more on history. I have a background in history and a degree in African studies. So, kind of broadening the perspective on the conversation and just giving people a higher standard of what we look for as women and in our women. Definitely. So look for that in 2017.
Okay, so that's what it is. I'm Doggie Diamonds. This is, say your name one more time.
ZaZa Ali.
And we about to check out. Thank y'all for joining us. This won't be the last time. I promise y'all. I'll bring her back on. I'll bring her back. And I want y'all to cop her book. I want y'all to give us some feedback. Give her feedback. Go to her website. Follow her on Instagram, follow her on all the social media, and give her feedback about the book. The first book is very, very good. I read it. For me, I'm a little advanced, so it was stuff that I knew, but this is what I was able to do with your first book. I was able to give it to somebody else and say, look, and it was a female I gave it to. I was able to give it to a female and say, look, this is a female who wrote this book, and this is what she thinks about certain things that you keep saying, I'm full of shit and I'm talking as poison.
Yeah.
Listen to a woman, so that I was able to get through. So shout out to you for coming through, and I'll holler at you later on. Peace, everybody out there. Thank y'all for all y'all support.
Peace, King.